Hey guys, this is not a required video for your chapter 3, but I thought I would make a quick tutorial video here for you as far as matrices goes. There is a easier way to do them, and that is why we have this great graphing calculator. It allows us to do tons of things with matrices in the actual calculator, so we don't have to do all of them by hand. I'm going to show you this in the calculator, but keep in mind there will be a portion of your test that you don't get to use this guy on. So you'll still have to know how to do some things by hand, and I'll talk about what those are as we kind of go through it. Okay, so we're going to do 5 things. First, we're going to talk about how to enter matrices. Then we're going to talk about adding and subtracting them, multiplying them, entering and finding the inverse of them, and then finding the determinant of them are the 5 things that we're going to do here on the calculator. So first we're going to start by entering the matrices. So to do that, I'm going to hit second. So I'm on my home screen. I'm going to hit second, and then this little matrix button right here. So x to the negative first brings me to my matrix menu. Okay, so anytime you are entering a matrix, you want to be in edit mode. Okay, so I'm going to go over to edit here. I use my arrows to push me over to edit. And then I'm going to hit enter because I'm on matrix A. So I'm going to hit enter. And matrix A is a 2-row by 2 columns, so 2 by 2. So I'm going to enter 2, enter, 2, enter. And so it gave me a 2 by 2 matrix. And now I'm just going to enter 3, 4, 6, 2. So 3, enter, 4, enter, 6, enter, 2, enter. And I have my matrix. Okay, now I want to enter matrix B. So to do that, I'm just going to go second matrix again, and I'm going to go down to letter B. Actually, sorry, I'm going to go over to edit, and then I'm going to go down to B. And I'm going to hit enter again. And I'm going to do the exact same thing. So this is 2 rows by 3 columns. Oops. By 3. And I'm going to go 5, 2, 3, 4, negative 1, and 0. And then I'm going to do matrix C. So I'm going to enter this guy. So I'm going to go second matrix. I'm going to go over to edit. I'm going to go down to C. And this is a 2 by 2 as well. So 2, enter, 2, enter, 8, negative 3, 2, 5. Now I'm going to do D, second matrix, go over to edit, go down to D. So this is 2 rows and 1 column. So the nice thing about this is if you enter the wrong dimensions, it won't look like the matrix that you're trying to enter. So let's say I accidentally did 1 by 2. See how it looks different than this one? So I want a 2 by 1. So negative 1 and 0. A second matrix, and I'm going to enter my last one. So down to edit and E. This is a 3 by 3, 2, 3, 6, 5, negative 1, 0, 3, 2, negative 8. All right, and I'm going to go back into my matrix menu now. So now I can see that I have all 5 of my matrices entered. Sometimes you only need to put 2 of them in. Sometimes they're labeled different letters. So let's say you were doing just an operation with A and C. Let's say you were just adding A and C and you didn't have to do anything with these 3 matrices. We wouldn't bother entering these 3. We'd just maybe relabel this one as B and enter this in the B spot. Okay, as long as you know which ones you put where. It really doesn't matter where you put the matrices. Just remember what you called them. So that is entering matrices in the calculator. Okay, adding and subtracting them. So we want to go back to our home screen. So we're going to hit second quit. So imagine I'm back at my home screen here. So I entered all my matrices. They're saved in the calculator. Okay, so to add them, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my second matrix menu again. And now instead of going over to edit, let's say I wanted to add A plus C because I know that these 2 can be added because they're both the same size. So I'm going to hit A. I just hit enter when I was highlighting A. I'm going to hit the plus sign. I'm going to go back second matrix. And I'm going to go down to C. See how C is highlighted right here. And I'm going to hit enter. And then I'm going to hit enter again, and it tells me that my result is 11,187. So if I want to subtract them, it works the same way. So let's say I wanted to subtract, let's say I wanted to try and subtract C and D. Okay, so I'm going to go back and select C, and then I'm going to hit minus, and I'm going to go back and select matrix D. Okay, and if we remember what our properties of matrices, this should tell us that we can't actually subtract these because they're not the same size. And if I hit enter, it actually tells me that there's an error. Dimension mismatch is what that's saying. So it's saying that you can't add them or subtract them because they're the same, not the right size. So it's actually telling you check the size of the matrices. Okay, so I'm going to just quit that, and it tells me error there. Okay, so that's adding and subtracting matrices. Okay, multiplying matrices works very similar. Okay, so I'm going to go back in. Let's say I want to multiply A times B. Okay, so I'm going to multiply A and B together. So this is a 2 by 2, this is a 2 by 3. So according to this, the 2's match, so I should be able to take A times B. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to select matrix A. So I'm going to go second matrix. I'm going to select matrix A. I'm going to hit times. I'm going to go second matrix, and I'm going to go down and select B. And then I'm going to hit enter, and it just multiplied them for me. So instead of doing the long process of multiplication, the calculator can do that for you. Okay. Let's say I wanted to do something like 2A plus C. Okay, the calculator can do that for you too. So you would do 2, go in and choose matrix A, and then plus matrix C. And it does that for you. Okay, so you can really do any operation with your matrices in here, and if it's not possible, it'll tell you that there's an error and that the calculator doesn't like that. Okay, so we did those first 3, multiplying matrices, okay? All right, next we're going to enter and find the inverse, okay? So we had an equation to find inverse of matrices, but there is an, okay? So what we want to do is, let's say we're trying to find the inverse of A, okay? So the first thing I'm going to do is go in and choose my matrix A. So I have A on my screen. And then I'm going to hit this X to the negative first button here. And then I'm going to hit enter. And that is the inverse of matrix A. When you write this down on your paper, you would use decimals. So you would say like, we would round this one and we could say negative 0.11, 0.33, 0.22, and negative 0.17 for our inverse. Okay, you can do the inverse of a 3 by 3 as well. I did not give you an equation to do the inverse of a 3 by 3. I did not give you the equation to do an inverse of a 3 by 3, so this is something that you'll have to do in the calculator. So we would go second matrix, and I'm going to choose E, and then I'm going to do to the negative first button as well. The difference with this one is you're going to have to make sure you scroll over to be able to see all of the numbers. So I'm using my arrow button to make sure that I go over all the way and I make sure that I have all my information, because your inverse should be a 3 by 3 as well. Okay, so that is inverse. And then finally determinant. So I'm just going to clear the calculator here so there's less mess going on. Okay, so then finally the determinant, we're going to go in and we're going to go second matrix. I'm going to go over to the math tab now and see how I have a DET button there. I'm going to choose that. And now when I choose that, I'm going to go back in second matrix and I'm going to choose what matrix I want the determinant of. So let's say I want the determinant of A. And then I can just hit enter. And so my determinant is negative 18. And if I actually did the math for matrix A, the determinant, remember, is AC, so 3 times 2 is 6, minus 6 times 4, so minus 24, which actually gives you negative 18. Okay, so you can do it by hand or the calculator can do it for you as well. Okay, so if I want to do the determinant of matrix E, so I would go second matrix, go down to E, or go down over to math, I'm sorry, hit determinant, and then go second matrix, and then go down to E. So the determinant of letter E is 214. All right, and that is your graphing calculator and plugging matrices in and things. And I will show you, or I will explain what you will be able to use this on your test and whatnot in class. But as far as this goes, now you have a tool that is a good checking tool at least for your matrices.